Hey, what's up, guys? Want to do a little bit of a tailgate talk here. I'm going to try to do these a little more often. But there's been a lot of people reach out to me lately asking about should I be a contract lineman and, work as a contractor, or should I go to a utility and work at a utility as a lineman? And there is a difference between the two. And I feel like that, first of all, I want to say nobody can make that decision for you. Don't let anybody else make that decision for you. Everybody's different, and everybody fits into those roles differently. So, what works great for one person may not work for you. So, take that with a grain of salt, right? But I want to talk about the mindset behind the two. And I've also seen a lot of comments lately about, oh, those contractors aren't worth a shit, or those utility linemen are soft. They don't know what it's like. And I want to kind of touch on some of that a little bit too. So that mindset of those contract linemen aren't worth a shit, it's kind of a little bit more of an old school mindset, I feel like. And listen, there's good and bad to both sides of that, right? There's great contract linemen and there's great utility linemen. There's also absolutely horrible contract linemen and absolutely horrible utility linemen also, right? So to lump everybody in one of those categories isn't fair. And everybody's got different things that drive them in different stages of their life. So I've been on both sides of that. I've been at a utility for 10 years, and I've been on the contract side for almost as long. So it does kind of change as you go, and you've got to do what works out best for you. So to say that somebody's either horrible or great at what they do because they do one or the other isn't fair. And I feel like we need to get past some of that. I see a lot of videos and comments about, oh, these storm guys aren't worth a shit, or these contractors aren't worth a shit, or these in-house guys are soft, or whatever. And we got to do better, right? We're all linemen at the end of the day. We're all kind of going towards the same goal. So we've got to do a little bit better at that ego and be a little more humble, basically. So the biggest take for that is, you know, don't let that old school mentality take over and grow inside you like a cancer. Make your own decisions and be open minded about it. So um, the utility linemen are really good about being in their backyard and doing everything on their property. They're the best at it. It's what they do every day, right? They're really well rounded and get a lot of experience, a lot of things. Typically, uh, contract linemen, from my experience, are a little bit more of a jack of all trades. Um, they are really good at a little bit of everything. They can do a lot more stuff with a lot less as far as like tooling and equipment and material goes. They can figure out, oh man, we don't have this, but I can make this work, or we don't have this, but I can make this work. Because let's face it, a lot of the contractors don't supply the linemen with the tooling and equipment that the utility companies do. The pocketbooks aren't the same, the resources aren't the same, and it's just two different lifestyles basically. So uh, that's a big difference. Um, the other side of it is, the financial side of it. As a contractor, typically they get paid a little bit more, and less stuff comes out of their check before they get it. So their health insurance and retirement doesn't come out of their pocket; it comes out of the company's pocket. Whereas a lot of times, as an in-house lineman, you pay for your own health insurance, and your retirement is like a 401k match or something like that. The pensions are really hard to find anymore. I'm not saying they're not out there, but they're just hard to find. So you're basically funding at least half of your retirement. So those two things are a big difference. So the other things that kind of make a big difference is the contract linemen are always working themselves out of a job, right? Every poll they finish, every bid job they complete, they've got to do a good job at it because they want the opportunity to do more work. But at the same time, if they get done and that utility doesn't need them anymore, they've got to go down the road and find another job somewhere else, whether it's a different utility, whether it's cross country, whatever that means. As being a journeyman lineman, that's kind of where that came from, right? So in-house utility linemen don't have to worry about that. If they go slow, not a big deal. There's not that push to be profitable and make sure that you're on the go all the time. Don't get me wrong, they still stay busy, and they still work their butts off, but it's just a different mindset and a different drive behind it. So a utility lineman will never know what it feels like to wonder, oh man, when this job's over, are they going to let me off? Are they going to be able to land another contract next year? That kind of stuff. So that stays in the back of your mind as a contract lineman almost all the time. And your reputation hits the job before you do. So all you can do is go out and do the best job possible and hope that whenever someone else is looking for somebody, your reputation speaks for you, right? That's what we all hope for, at least. So they're a little bit more flexible when it comes to that kind of stuff. As far as like the double standard of these contractors, they're there because your utility company needs them there, right? The days of the utility companies being so heavily staffed that they don't need contractors are typically gone. There may be some out there that still, handle everything themselves without contractors, but there's a lot less of them than what there were 20 years ago. A lot of these utility companies anymore are very heavily staffed on the support side of it and the office side of it, and very low staffed on the field side of it. So they lean on these contractors to help finish projects up or get them ahead or behind or do upgrades or whatever, because typically the in-house guys are chasing trouble or doing maintenance tickets or whatever they're doing to try to keep that plate clean, and that's all they can handle because they're so short staffed. So that's one big difference as well. And what it really comes down to is, we've all got pride in the trade, and we all think, oh, what we do is the best. If I'm a contract lineman is where it's at. If I'm a utility lineman, oh, guess what? Utility lineman's where it's at. And we all kind of have that mindset and that feeling of what I do is the best. But in the big scheme of things, we're all going towards the same goal. I mean, we're all out here trying to do line work the best we can do it. We're all out here trying to move forward and provide for our families. And when we do that, everybody's got a different role to play. So just keep in mind that, just because you work in your backyard every day and someone else may be coming on your property and staying in a hotel and traveling and doing that kind of stuff, that doesn't mean he's not as good of a lineman as you are. And the same goes for the other guy. Just because the guy stays his utility doesn't mean he's scared to go out and do line work. It just means that his family needs him at home, and that's what he chose to do, right? Or whatever the reason is. Everybody's got their own reason. So basically, I just kind of want to go over that and talk about, this divide, this contractor versus utility lineman divide has always kind of been there. And I've always kind of been frustrated about it. I wish that it wasn't there. I mean, I've been on properties where as a contractor, you drive by the in-house lineman and they don't even wave at you. If you're on the dock loading material up, they won't try to help you find material, or they won't even talk to you or anything else. It's like you don't exist to them, right? And as contractors, those guys aren't there to take the job from you in-house guys. They're there because your utility wants them there. So, keep that in the back of your mind, and maybe be a little bit more humble and helpful to those guys. If you see them doing something that's different from what your spec is, maybe pull them aside and be like, hey, we usually try to do that like this, or, when we put our hot tap on, the wire goes this way in it instead of that way in it, or whatever it is. But don't just sit there and complain and throw a fit about them behind the scenes. Help them figure out what you need and what they need to be doing to get the stuff done the way you want it done. Because ultimately, if the utility wants them there, it doesn't matter what you think about it anyhow, as a lineman, right? They're going to be there. So it's just a matter of changing our mindset and getting past this. It's not a competition. They want it to be a competition, and it's really not. It's about everybody working together and having the same goal. And the more conversation we can have about that kind of stuff, the better off the trade's going to be as a whole. So, I mean, let me know how you feel about it. If you've got a different feeling, we can talk about it and have some conversation. I'm good with that. But big picture to me is what matters. And the big picture is we're all linemen. We're all trying to go home every night, and we're all trying to do the best quality job we can. So let's work together on that and try to make the trade a little bit better and a little bit safer for everybody. Right? All right. Catch you guys later.